really cues, very simple, basic cues that people can understand and pick up and internalize and respond to in their body. They don't have
Yes.
to think. They can just,
Relatable.
or like, yeah, they can understand it. So
Relatable.
okay,
Understanding and relatable. Yes,
okay,
absolutely. And that's why I say, so now you see multiple ways of bringing your conversation to someone,
okay,
um, and not give them too much off the cuff, and
okay,
allowing them the opportunity to respond to something that you've said, because that's what's building rapport.
okay.
And so let's do it the other way.
Okay, I'm gonna turn this fan up because I'm burning up in here. I know you might be cold there, but it's really hot.
Okay.
Turn this fan up a little bit. I don't have the AC on, although I probably could use it in the middle of the day. All right, I think that's a little better. Woo! Need to get a fan. Let's see. Actually, hold on one sec.
So what's the outside temperature there?
It's hot. Is what it is. I don't know. It's got to be like 80 something, 85, 88. Okay,
Okay.
that feels a little better. Just turned up the fan. I'm not like dying. It's hot in here. Yeah,
Okay.
it's been sunny. It's just kind of like muggy, before it's about to rain. It's very cloudy. So it just feels hotter because it's pretty humid right now.
We had a rainstorm come through this morning. It sounded like a mini tornado,
Oh my goodness. I miss
and
the rains up north.
the temperature dropped. So they were saying it was going to be like the low 60s. And I want to say that it's actually in the 50s right now, which is not really cold, but um, it's colder than I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, 57 degrees right now. But so let's turn the tide. Let's stay with the bliss point as the focus of the conversation.
Okay.
But let's do it where you're entering the room and you found me, somebody who you can talk with. Say you're at like the table where they have some fruits and vegetable snacks, hors d'oeuvres, and you've got a little plate, and I'm right behind you in line. You say, "Oh, hi there. How are you? And what's your name?" And you ask me, and let's create the conversation from you starting it.
Okay. Hello. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Good.
I noticed you got all the veggies on your plate, a big variety of different colors of vegetables that are all.
Yes. I'm a veggie girl. I love my fruits and vegetables. What about you? You sound like you have an interest there.
That's one of my passions. I educate people about using food as medicine, and obviously vegetables, especially the whole array of the rainbow, are a big part of that education and of moving people from sickness into health. So that's
That's
one of my passions.
awesome. I love the idea of teaching people about using food as medicine. How do you do that? How do you do that? Are you,
It's very simple. It's a 12-week course. It's called My Health, My Priority. It's broken down into one tool, one skill that we learn each week. And it can be in a group setting, like a smaller group setting, either virtual or in person. And basically you learn from a professional in their field, whether that's a cardiologist, a scientist, or a general MD doctor, nutritionist, things like that. You will learn their top one skill that they advocate you doing for your health based on scientific research and based on what they have found through all of their patients and clients. And once you understand that concept, and one of them, like I mentioned about the vegetables, one of them is specifically about carotenoid-rich vegetables that are great for eyesight. So just finding things that work for you through that process and building on them through that 12-week process. The point is, by the end of that time, working hand in hand with a doctor, if somebody were sick to a point where they had to have either insulin or pills for hypertension, high blood pressure, they would be able to come off of that by living with this specific program and this lifestyle. So that's
Wow,
the
that's
gist of it.
awesome. So how did you get involved with that?
Well, I had the opportunity, the
You know, I would even go to, I'm a yoga
yoga.
I'm a yoga
Yeah.
instructor by
Okay.
trade. That
Okay.
is my passion, and I'm a healthy living advocate.
Okay.
And this was introduced to me, and when I saw it, I was like, I want to help bring this to people.
Okay. Yeah.
So
And
try
and
that.
actually, I mean, can I even say this concept in the whole food plant-based movement was introduced to me at a young age. Now that I think back, by my dad, who.
So think about it. You're at an event,
Okay.
you're with all of these people around, you're moving through a line at a table, getting some little hors d'oeuvres on your plate.
Okay.
How much are you going to be able to say to people? So that's a great thought
Okay.
process. Just figuring out when is the best time to interject that conversation or into that kind of conversation. So the shorter answer is the better answer. I'm a
Okay.
yoga instructor by trade. When this was introduced to me, I was just so excited about it. I knew I wanted to help other people learn it.
Okay. And even like, I do think it's important that, I don't know, I like something like this, and I don't want to be too wordy, so, but I want to just like throw it out there and bounce it off of you and kind of see what you think about that. Early on in my life, I had the experience of watching somebody who was dying of cancer come back using a whole food plant-based lifestyle after Western medicine had completely failed her and she had gone through chemo. She was able to fully recover, and she now makes and distributes these meals to people who also have cancer. And it's a lifestyle that prevents and cures chronic illness, even something like cancer, even something that we can't necessarily cure through Western medicine. And while that's something I definitely want to prevent, because I have, family history of that, it's not something I've directly experienced. I'm a yoga instructor. I've always been interested in moving in this direction for my health and wellness and the wellness of others, being able to teach that and share that with others. And I've been moving in that direction. This was something that just, what was the last thing that you said, that this was something that I was exposed to, or how did you word it?
You think about it. What does it feel like for you? You were introduced to it. What did you feel like when you
Introduced
were?
to it. Yeah. I was instantly interested after hearing about it and being introduced to it. It was something that I was definitely interested in. And after I did the 12-week program myself, I became very involved and passionate about it because I saw it working in my own life and saw significant health improvements for myself and other people. Now, the people that I've shared this program with who've gone through it have seen significant health benefits as well.
So, with all that you said, you
Too
have
much.
you have not given the opportunity for someone to respond or even ask, so what about you?
Okay.
Because Maya Angelou has this saying, or had this saying, that um, people don't care who you are until they know that you care.
Okay.
And you said a lot that showed that you cared, but you didn't care about the person that you were speaking to.
Got it.
And you want to care about them too, because you don't know who they are. You don't know what kind of impact they may be able to have upon your establishing rapport with them. Rapport is a two-way street.
Okay.
And, you know, I used to, in teaching my fitness classes, you know, you're the leader. You're always the one in
The
the
spotlight.
front and in the spotlight, and you're the one giving the commands and directions and all of that. And so sometimes, and in those circumstances, that's your job. That
Yeah,
is your
that's my
responsibility.
mode, like 24/7 before right now, before I'm kind of just like, whoop, you know? So,
And there's a place that you have to step back into
yeah, because there's
and
no dialogue.
bring up the dialogue. It's
Okay.
about the conversing.
Okay.
So to be able to ask someone, well, what do you do?
What do
You know,
you do?
you started out in the line, you're into the vegetables and fruits. What do you do? How is it that you have such an interest in eating whole plant foods? I'm a medical doctor. I'm an integrative medical physician, and this is what I eat, and I try and help my patients to understand this. And you're on a whole different conversation with having that information. And had you not asked, you wouldn't even know. And you wouldn't give the doctor or whoever it is the opportunity to feel like they've connected with you, right? So it's about creating what you say to create, or saying what you say to create the opportunity for conversation. And conversation is two-way. So you're going to be asking the questions as well,
Okay.
starting off, or if you were asked the first question. So who are you? I'm a healthy living advocate. My name is Sarah, and I help educate people to learn about using food as medicine. Who are you? What do you do? You're in this line, you've got this great looking plate with all the colors on it. Who are you? I'm curious, you know, just have that curious face on,
Mm-hmm.
and then hear them tell you who they are. And that might be an entirely different conversation, or it might be the conversation because they're participant opportunity.
Okay.
They may be the doctor, they may be the acupuncturist, but you don't know if you don't ask them to share that information with you.
Instead of saying, I educate people on how to use food as medicine, what's another way that you would say that
I
as well?
help deliver a program. I'm a
Okay.
facilitator for a program that is designed to educate people about using food as medicine.
Okay. I just would doctors want to hear that pretty much? I mean, would a
Yeah,
doctor want to hear that, or
yeah.
would they want to hear more like I educate people on how to live a healthy lifestyle using proper nutrition as well as mindfulness
So
practices?
why, what, tell me what makes you think that a doctor would not want to hear something when you put the word medicine? And,
Because Western medicine is all about like medicine and not using food as medicine.
but you don't know who this doctor is. And we
Oh,
already said
true,
that it was an integrative medicine doctor,
true.
and they know,
Yes.
and they're in this space of using food as medicine. And the other thing that I think is a protector in that space, when you say using food as medicine, that goes right to Hippocrates.
Okay.
Every doctor has taken the Hippocratic oath. Every doctor knows the concept of using food as medicine. They may not know the intricacies of it, but they know of it. They've heard of it. And today, I'm going to tell you that more doctors know and have heard about whole plant foods and using food as medicine, and whole food, plant based. They know now. They have heard this.
Yeah.
So you're not saying anything that they haven't heard of, and you are very much saying something that will intrigue them to ask you more. They will be the ones to ask you more about, well, how do you do that? Well, what are you doing? Where'd you learn that? Are you a doctor? No, I'm not a doctor. I'm a healthy living advocate. I work with a group of advocates. They've designed a program curriculum, and I'm looking for doctors who I can collaborate with because I'd love to help share this information with their patients.
I'm just writing some of this down.
Yes, please do. And I am recording as well.
You said I'm looking for doctors I can collaborate with so I can, we can share this information with their patients.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know, I am acutely aware that doctors don't have the time to take with their patients like they may want to. And, you know,
I have the time and the skill set to be able to.
And I wouldn't necessarily say the skill set, because again, you're jumping to a conclusion there. Time is a surety. You know time.
I got some time on my hands.
You know about the time. Doctors don't have the time. Even integrative functional medicine doctors don't have all the time to see 100 patients a week. And
well, I would say I have some experience with leading people through a 12-week program that helps, I have seen that they have seen results with, positive results in doing.
Yes. Yes. But again, when you're talking to the doctor about the doctor, you don't know what they have, except that you can make a very strong stance on the fact that their time is very valuable to them.
Okay.
Their skill set, you don't know, especially a doctor who's standing in this line with you. And I want you to have this visual, because if they're standing in this line with you and they've got a plate full of vegetables and fruits, they got to know something.
Yeah. They're not eating garbage already. Yeah.
And then part of what's going to help you too is when you hear what questions they ask you, because that will tell you a lot as well.
Okay.
And again, you want to try to be as concise with your answers as possible, because you then want to ask them more questions. So you're a doctor, what's your specialty? You know, and they might say, well, I'm a doctor of education, or I'm a chiropractor, or I'm a naturopathic doctor, or see, that's valuable information for you.
Yes.
And if you don't ask the question, you may not get that information.
It's funny, I just got a text from somebody saying I just made avocado toast, I need healthy ways of eating. And I just told her, look, I'm on a conference call me after it and we can discuss. But it's so, like, there are people who are searching for this, but obviously the doctors, the chiropractic, those are the people that I really want to target. But I think it does help me get more comfortable before I even approach them, just to talk to normal people about all of this and get it down, get the leads down, and
the same thing,
what you're talking about.
The same thing with normal people who might be participants. Somebody that approaches you like this, and you call them back and say, thanks for getting in touch with me. How can I help? Because again, you don't necessarily know what their issues are.
Got it.
And I would ask numerous questions to get started. Okay. You know, what can I help you with? Well, I saw that you were doing this, that, and the other, and I thought, I want to do this. I want to eat healthier. So Spirit just said, reach out.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you made your avocado toast. What else are you looking for?
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
How,
mean, with
what,
this person, I know there are bigger fish to fry there. So it's kind of like, how can I help is not necessarily with nutrition. I know that's a part of it, but honestly, there are bigger fish to fry in this particular situation. So I don't even really, we don't even talk about nutrition. This is the first time she's ever, and it's just crazy that I'm talking to you about this and that she specifically texted me about that.
and
But you know what?
that's where you want the conversation to stay. You know, if you're looking for,
Not on the bigger fish to fry. I
no,
usually redirect there. I usually try to hit the nail on the head, you know?
no, let's talk about nutrition. Be in, so what happens is when you go for the bigger fish to fry, you've got too many open doors. Which one do you go through?
Yeah, but what if there's something that could be potentially a bigger issue? And I would feel almost irresponsible if I
So tell me what
addressed
you're
that.
referring to.
Well, this person has like a problem, and this is like, I'm not going to tell you who she is, obviously, but this person has a problem with drugs and alcohol. And she called me up last night saying that, and she had been sober for over a couple of months. I've been, she's been calling me for help, but inconsistently. So then she called me, and I'm working with her to try to help her basically, but she hasn't been really willing to kind of do what it takes on her end in terms of that specifically, in terms of like addressing that specific condition or issue. And she called me last night that I think her boyfriend asked her to call me because she had bought a 6-pack and was about to drink it. And she actually, to her credit, she texted me, call me back. And she had never called me, so I was like, call you back. But I called her, and this was at like midnight, and we had to talk about it. And she said, they both said, he even got on the phone with me for I don't know how long, like 20 minutes. And I said something to him about it because he's not an addict or an alcoholic. He doesn't understand it. I was like, don't keep it in that. If she's important to you, then don't tempt her. Don't put it in the house around her, And we talked, and then she got back on the phone and said that they were going to dump it out. I told her, all right, well, call me tomorrow. And that's when I say like nutrition, it's like if with an addict, with an alcoholic, if, they put basically if they start drinking, all bets are off, diet, whatever, that's more fine tuning stuff. If you have somebody who's hooked on a substance, that literally in your brain, it regrooves your brain, it overrides all of those connotations for sleep, for water, for food, for anything. It goes straight from A to
And,
that
and
substance,
I'm going to interject.
Okay.
Uh, what the word that came to mind is a bullshit because of,
Bullshit.
yeah, because I know the psychology of the mind.
Okay.
And while you are correct for someone who does not know the psychology of the mind and the psychology of change, people do that because they feel as though there's an underlying reason for it. Stress. I can't get my way, so I'm mad. So this is what I'm going to do.
That's what she was doing last night. She was mad at him. She was being defiant. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you address.
Got it.
You don't address the drinking.
Okay.
That's what you address. And it's like, you're mad at him. Is there another way that you can do this besides the alcohol? You're
Yeah.
mad at him. So is there a way that you can talk it out? Tell him why you're upset. We've tried that. It doesn't work, whatever. The bottom line is you're angry, and that's something that you're using as a crutch for your anger. And it's not healthy
So
for
true. That's so true.
you. It's
I addressed it, but not in those words. And you just said that in a really articulate way that I would love to convey to her, because then that honors her feelings and her experience instead of just saying like, don't do this, don't do that, to a 21-year-old.
It's
To
somebody
literally,
who is, you know, you tell me not to do something, I'm gonna
yeah,
do
I'm gonna do it.
it. Don't do it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But when you frame it, and a lot of psychology is around framing and reframing. The way that you create change is, I have a 5-step process. It's all A's. And the first is you awaken to the awareness that something is up. Let me wake you up to something.
So that's the first one, or that's 1 and 2, awaken and awareness?
That's one. You
Well, that's
awaken
all.
to the awareness, or just being aware. But you have to awaken to the awareness, and
Okay.
then you're aware. And in that awakening, you do that by asking questions. You know, why do you think that this is happening? Well, I'm mad. And you get mad and you go for a can of beer or a bottle of beer. That's harming you and no one else. Is that what you want to do? And if it is, then that's something that we can address it, and you want to be aware that that's what it is. And so the second A is acknowledging. So let's acknowledge. You need something that when you figure out that you're angry around something, you want to acknowledge it. I'm angry. I don't like it. And acknowledging it doesn't mean that the solution to it is in a beer bottle. And then from there, you accept it. But you know, it's okay, because you've done this long enough that you've created a pattern. And it's about breaking the pattern. And patterns get broken because you're aware of what you're doing. You acknowledge that this is where you've been. And now you can accept that and do something different. And the fourth one is align. And you're aligning with the understanding that you've gotten from becoming aware, acknowledging that this is how you've been in the past, accepting that, and deciding it's okay to make a different decision. Align with that decision and be okay with the fact that you want to learn to do something different when you get angry, when you want to communicate and you can't, for whatever reason.
But honestly, some of it wasn't just that she was mad. The mad part came in there with her opening the can. But before that, before even doing that, she went out and he had alcohol, brought alcohol into the house. And so she decided, kind of tricking herself into it, saying, oh, people get 6-packs and go to the beach, you know, thinking she was like normal, she could drink normally. She decided to get a 6-pack. And he had an issue with her drinking, even though he was drinking in front of her, because he didn't have an issue. He said, if you drink that, I'm going to break up with you. And she said, okay, well, now I'm definitely going to drink it. So she opened one and she put it next to her, you know, like here. So
the dare.
what, that's why she was mad. That's why she opened it up. And then you said, when you feel angry or upset, is there another way to communicate that? What else can you do? Like if you make that decision, once you're on number 4, aligning with that understanding, you make a decision that you're going to act a different way after understanding, acknowledging, accepting it, and making that decision.
And you want to align with what's best for you. And maybe
Okay.
what she was actually trying to say is, what's best for her is to not be with him. Because if he is going to not feel enough or honor her enough and have a drink while she's there, while she's sitting there, is that respectful? Is that honoring her? And is that part of what she was feeling too? Disrespect? Dishonoring? And that was her way of saying, you know, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And not really feeling maybe secure enough to say, then just go. You want to drink? I don't want to drink. I know what it does to me. I don't like it. I mean, there's plenty of guys out there who are great guys who don't drink and won't drink if they know that you can't drink. And
That's what he said, though, when he was on the phone with me. That's what he said. He said, she is more important to me than drinking is. So that means I don't have it in the house. I don't drink. I'm happy to give that up.
and that is,
Get it. I get it. Like, he was the one who was asking her to call me, you know? So I said, that shows that you care. That
yeah,
does. So
yeah,
keep it up.
yeah. And, it's back to the whole Maya Angelou thing, I don't believe that you care until you show me that you care. And if you're going to bring a beer in the house and then tell me I can't have any, what the
It's
hell is that?
disrespectful. That's disrespectful. I mean, it's like torturing somebody.
Yeah.
Look what I have.
And you can't have any. Yep.
Yeah.
That's,
You're talking about a 21-year-old little girl, basically,
and how old is he?
I don't know. I should ask. Probably a little bit older, about the same, but a little bit older. They're both living at his mom's house, so I'm guessing they're young.
And there's so many dynamics in relationships, but this goes across the board. Um, this is whether it's your sister that you're living with or your brother that you're living with. If you don't care enough for them, knowing their situation or their weaknesses, then you just don't care. And if he's saying that he cares, then he needs to step up and prove it to her.
Yeah. And I don't mean to seem like unconcerned or whatever, but honestly, like, I didn't really ask too many questions. She'll talk about him or whatever. I don't really ask too many questions about him because I always refocus on the solution pretty much. Like, I always recommended that she stay in the halfway house, or she look at some women's halfway houses that could support her in her recovery. Look at places where there were sober houses and nothing was allowed, just for accountability. I just explained based on my experience what has helped to get a foundation for a woman who's young, especially, and struggling with this condition. Being around people who understand that is so helpful. And it's not, I don't care about him, but I don't care about him. I care about her. This is the person that I have a relationship with, and he is somebody that she has a relationship with, but my loyalties
Caring
fall
about
back.
her too. And
Huh?
he should be caring about her, and she should be caring about him. And
Yeah.
caring about him enough to say, hey, look, I'm allergic to alcohol. I don't do well with it. If you care about me, can you not, while we're together, you know, you're wherever with the boys, then you do what you do.
Yeah.
But when it's us, it would just be so helpful for me, and not to make me feel like I'm, some, because that's part of it too. When someone has an issue like that, it's easy for other people to make them feel bad, to
Yeah.
shame them, make
Or
them
like
feel
eating some cake in front of a diabetic. It's like, they're not supposed to be eating that. Why would you torture somebody with a sweet tooth with, like, a big piece of cake that they can't eat? It's just kind of rude,
mean.
or it makes them feel like out of place, mean.
Hmm.
Well, thank you for helping me with that,
Should I
because
give you the fifth one?
huh?
Should I give you the fifth one?
No, I'm sorry. The fifth one, align, and then what was the fifth one?
Allow. Allow yourself to take action, allow yourself to be courageous, allow yourself to just feel as though you deserve the best in life, and that's what you're going to stand up for, and do it without bringing harm to yourself or others.
Okay.
Hmm. And even in the allowance, think about how that word sounds. Allow. What you are allowing first is yourself to be important, right? And be guiltless, shameless in your, um, and in her circumstances, in her need to not be around alcohol.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I just get like kind of disillusioned because I see somebody making choices that are contrary to what I feel would be the best thing for them. And so it's hard for me to, it's like she can call me when her boyfriend tells her to, but she's the only other thing I get from her is like little texts, and it's not really her wanting to do this process. It's kind of just like she's staying in touch, but she's not really
So
doing more.
there's another piece to the psychology of all of this, and um, it is recognizing, it's another space of acknowledging, or actually awakening to the awareness of and acknowledging that you're just immature.
Okay.
The responses that you're making are very immature responses. And if you continue in the immature way that you're responding to these things, then, that just says that either you're okay with the consequences of it, or if you want to look at it from a more mature perspective, there are other things that you can do. That's where your solution of going to the women's halfway house, or, I had a friend actually years ago. We used to meet up over a drink, hang out, do our networking together and drink. And I found he was missing for a little while. It was a couple of weeks. And when he showed up again, I was like, "Where have you been? I've missed you." We were like really good friends. We were in the same line of business, and he was just gone. I had called him a couple of times, like, "I called you." He's like, "Yeah, I just had to step back for a while." And what I realized was, um, no, he didn't even say it like that. He said, I had just had to take some time, step back for a while. And so I had just gotten there. He was already there. And so I went ahead and ordered a drink. And I said, "Aren't you getting anything?" And he's like, "No, I found out I'm allergic to alcohol." And he actually said, I have allergies.
I have an allergy.
I said, "That's interesting. What are you allergic to?" And he looked at me, kind of grinned. He said, "Alcohol." I was like, "Oh my God. You know, I think I'm allergic to drink number 3." And that was an awakening to the awareness, because I usually didn't have more than 3 drinks wherever I went, whenever I went, plus, having to drive.
Yeah.
And I was like, now I can really feel good about saying I'm not drinking more than 2 drinks, because after 3, my allergies kick in and I'm stupid and I don't want to be there. I decided, I acknowledged all of that, and I aligned with who I wanted to be. And I was like, from there, I'm going to allow myself, I'm giving myself permission to say, at 3, I'm allergic. I'm not doing more. And then it got to, I was like, 1 drink. It's like I'm allergic to anything more than 1 drink. And then it got to where I was like, I went places and I was like, no, my allergies are acting up on me.
You have a juice or something, or
Yep.
iced tea, Arnold Palmer.
And I couldn't even do like the Virgin Bloody Mary or anything like that, because it told my brain alcohol.
Yeah.
And so I did water, I did iced tea, unsweetened iced tea, and that was it. And most of my time drinking was actually water. And I drank vodka, so water looked like vodka to people, so that they didn't feel strange drinking around me. But it also meant that where I used to go a lot of places and everybody was drinking just meant that I could be there before everybody got drunk and I could leave. I could leave pretty early because I did not want to be there seeing everybody getting drunk.
It gets uncomfortable. I learned that you know, a couple times when I was in, you know, early in recovery, that being around family, whether it was like a bridal shower or whatever, things can get a little crazy. Even if they know you're in recovery, once they're drunk, all bets are off. People handing you
Yeah.
cups, what, 6 shots in them and stuff. I was like, whew, I don't think I can make it to this wedding. Like, I love you, but if this was like the preview for what's to come, I don't stand a chance there. So I'm just going to love you from afar and send you a gift and my best wishes and be there in spirit. You know what I mean? And the
Yeah.
people who love me and understand that about me respect that. And the people who don't want to be mad about it, they can be mad for a little while. Then they get over it. If they love me and their family, they'll get over it.
You know,
You know?
that is one way to deal with that. And I actually did that a few times. And then I was like, you know, but these are my friends. These are people
Yeah.
that I love. These are my family. And I'll just go and I'll be there. And when all the ruckus starts or before, as it's getting started, I'm making my exit.
Yeah.
Everybody knows I was there. I got the
Little
hug.
exit. Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
good. And I mean, and that's one thing, but the other thing is when you're staying with all them too, it can be a whole nother thing. But I've been able to do that too. Stay with people, go on trips with my best friend, who was working as a chef in the Bahamas, which is like was like it was like a 45-minute plane ride from here to there, and be able to spend her birthday with her. And all of the chefs, you know how they are. They're crazy. I mean, everyone in that industry, they drink. I don't know if it's cocaine, but they are like up all night partying and like dancing, and it's fun. And then I'm like, I'm done. Like, you guys, I'm like falling asleep here. I don't know about you guys, but you know what I mean?
And
Like,
that was
it got
me.
uncomfortable, but it was like, all right, at least I could be around her and have those memories and be there for her as a friend. Like, she's always been for me, you know? So,
And being able to say, no thanks. And yeah, I found that it was so great to be able to say, no, I had to stop. I'm allergic.
yeah.
There's something in alcohol that just does not work well with me. And people will respect that because they don't want you to be sick. They don't want you to die over trying to have fun.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I've done and teach actually as well. And you know, to your point about, you know, once somebody starts, you're right, they decided. There's no talking about it after they've already decided. And you know, it's I've done that too. It's like let's connect, let's get together again another day, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then depending, because I had one friend ask me, well, why didn't you hang around? It's like I can't hang around those situations anymore.
Yeah.
I just, you know,
Not
it's
where you're
not
at.
me. It's not health, and I was able to say it's not healthy for me.
I have to do a little plug for Trader Joe's. I mixed in some cranberry, so I got 2 things when I was getting, you know, rations for being at home. I got a carrot turmeric drink and I got a pure cranberry juice, just because, you know, that's good they're both good, like medicine, right?
Yep.
And I'm almost out of this, so I added some of the cranberry to it, which is bitter because it doesn't have added sugar. But same with this one just has carrot juice, black pepper, orange, organic lemon juice, turmeric powder, which that if the turmeric and the black pepper are together, it makes the curcumin, it makes the effects a lot stronger. And it has chili pepper powder, so 2 types of pepper, and that's it. Bam. So, you know, just
Love
FYI.
it.
That's
Yes.
stuff.
Sounds delicious.
Just breaking into it. All right.
So looking at the
Can we run the
time.
keys?
Oh, I wanted to ask you,
Mhm.
because of where we're going and what we're looking at, let's get a date. I've got a couple of facilitators who are looking at May dates
Okay.
for your next session.
All right. Let me grab my calendar. Okay. So we got April. And the other thing is I'm thinking about starting a course on April 8th, which is the Colin Campbell course. And they're willing to do like a discounted course since my dad had actually taken it 6 years, 8 years, I don't know, a while ago. And he has some of the books for it. They had recommended that I take it, my parents, and I'm thinking about actually starting that course. I think it's how long is that course? I think it's like a couple month course. And I think that would help me be a better group facilitator, just feel a little more confident in my knowledge, maybe be able to add a little bit more to the content of the group, and in terms of recipes and stuff like that, just sharing that that background and that information. As you know, he's one of the leaders in the field. So I'm thinking about that. I haven't signed up for it or anything, but in May, I would love to. What I like to do is kind of start on like a new moon. Start it on the 22nd of May, and then go from there for 12 weeks. In 3 months, have those results. That would be May 22nd, June. So June, July, August. So that would end before you get into like the school year, pretty much.
Yeah,
What,
middle of August.
how would that sound?
It sounds good. If Fridays are a good day for you.
Oh, that's Friday. Okay.
And if not, the week before and the week after, you can still be in the conversation and energy of the new moon.
Okay. Can I put out feelers to people who are interested in this? Because I would really like people to sign up for it. So if
Well,
people are saying like this date time works, then I could find something in those 2-3 weeks, that works for the majority of the people.
it I would actually recommend that you pick a date.
Okay.
And even if you say, I'm not that firm on this date, but I'm not, and not say not that firm. I'm a little flexible
Okay.
with
Okay. For
start date.
input. Okay. Um, well, let's see. I mean, what day of the week would you say is generally a good day to do this on? Like weekends or no? Like Monday.
Saturday mornings are good.
Okay.
Tuesday through Thursday are good. And Saturday mornings are good. Mondays usually aren't that good because people are really just trying to get into the week.
Okay.
And then the only thing that you'll come up against is if somebody else is taking a course, it's generally going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, or they do something with their local church is going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. But for 12 weeks and to get the benefits from this, even especially with what we're doing now with church groups and stuff, you can look at the replays and, do other things so that a Tuesday, Wednesday, or a Thursday shouldn't really impact you. So picking one of those or do a Saturday morning. We're probably going to be
Okay.
on
Well,
through the end of May.
true. Let's do Wednesday the 20th. And what time would you say? I guess it doesn't matter then. It could be during the day. It could be like 4 o'clock Wednesdays.
I think
No, after the workday. or before?
These people are telecommuting,
Yeah.
even those who are working are telecommuting, and they do have to work the full day. So your 5 o'clock is still
Okay.
good, but you could do a 5 o'clock because they could be there at 5.
Okay, so 5 p.m. on 5/20,
So 5 to 6:30.
5 to 6:30, and that's before dinner time pretty much. So
That's
it's
still
not
before
like
dinner
right in
time.
the middle of everything.
Yeah.
Okay, and they won't have that commute generally. So that would be the start of the 12, that would end, so 20 on June.
That'll end on Wednesday, August the 12th.
International Youth Day. So, and I wanted to ask you about that. So with my parents, we did the 12 weeks. We did a couple additional weeks with the supplemental, a couple of the supplemental videos, and we didn't do like an official wrap up class because I know, um, with the facilitator's guide, like once I get it, maybe there'll be, instructions on like how to do an official. And I left it kind of open-ended. We checked in. I did encourage them to get their test done with their doctors and let me know, what comparing results. But basically they let me know in terms of benefits that they had seen in terms of weight loss or whatever it was. But we didn't do anything too official. But on that date, would we be going over the previous week and do like a little wrap up? Like that would be a wrap up class as well? Or is that the official end of the course is what I mean? That's it, that day.
So it's discretionary,
Okay.
actually.
Okay.
So
So I
you
could
can,
do like a little bit of a longer course and wrap it up, or I could do it the following week.
yep, exactly.
Okay.
And that is outlined in the new facilitator supplemental guide.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you putting that all that effort in, and that will, help just to have that structure and support to be able to provide this service to people. And I think it's helpful, at least to me. I mean, I don't have to be rigid about it, but it's really nice to have that outline.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Wednesdays will be a good day. And obviously, if everybody's like, I can't do Wednesday, we'll change it. But if nobody says anything, 5 p.m., 5:20 on World Bee Day, according to this calendar, we will begin. And we'll end on
World B as in BEE.
yes,
Oh,
BEE. And we'll end on International Youth Day. So there you
okay.
go. Jade Yoga, who one of the yoga studios where I work, they were giving us calendars. So they have some interesting, it's like Susan B. Anthony Day. They have like some cool stuff in there. I'm like, all right,
Okay.
National Women's Day, Tiger Day, Memorial Day. They have all the regular holidays too.
Awesome.
So there we go. Okay, so I'll start kind of plugging for that. I just want to.
And then put on your calendar, uh, Tuesday, April 7th, 12 p.m. We're having a facilitator open forum,
Okay, is
and
that the next one?
that's the next one.
Okay.
And we are going to,
Is that Zoom and you'll text a link for it or
yes, you'll get an email.
okay.
We'll be talking about how to reach out to doctors during this time to establish
Oh, that's what I need.
relationships and what you can offer them.
Perfect. That's what I need to know.
All right.
So can I just put in my calendar like a recurring Tuesday so
It's
for
the
us?
first and third Tuesday of the month.
Okay, but I mean, okay. But for us, will we also be meeting on Tuesday or no?
Is
Like,
today Tuesday? What's today?
yeah, I mean, I was confused because I thought we were meeting Wednesdays and Thursdays for a little while, but I think it's Tuesday. It doesn't feel like a real work week for me, so it's hard for me to tell. But let me see. Let me check my phone. Yeah, I taught my last like virtual class out of the studio. It is Tuesday.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be, we don't have to meet on a Tuesday. We can meet on a Wednesday. We can meet on whatever. But I think for me, at least going forward and in the faraway future, I think it might be helpful for me to meet, if it's possible on a Tuesday or something prior to the Wednesday or even earlier in the day on Wednesday. That way, if there's something that I need to get dialed in for that meeting that day, for that Zoom meeting with the group that I'm facilitating, that way I'd be able to like run it by you or go over something or just
Can we
troubleshoot and fine tune any
stay
details.
with Tuesday at this time because uh,
Okay.
that would at least give me some time if something needed to happen to make it happen
Okay.
versus day of. I would be hard pressed to make a whole lot of stuff happen immediately.
So 3 p.m. Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Oh my God, thank you, Vlyn. And some of these a lot of the doctors' offices are closed, but I'm paying attention to the ones that I know that are still open, and the chiropractors are still open, crazy enough. I don't want to go in there.
Well, they're saying, me either, but they are saying that physical therapy, chiropractor, and actually medical doctors' offices can remain open
Yeah, of
because they're considered essential services.
course, of
But
course.
most of the medical doctors' offices are closed because they don't have any support staff.
Yeah,
And
mine
the
is.
thing that I also know is that they are still receiving their emails.
Okay, perfect.
So yes, and
That might
that's what
be
we're
even
going to talk.
better. Okay, especially if they have time on their hands. Maybe I
Yep,
can get a
yep.
hold of it. It's just that I don't really have any direct, I mean, for doctors, I don't, but maybe for like some of the staff, some of it's kind of a bureaucracy, but I'm sure I could put some feelers out and try to get connected or get the right email to be able to
Look
communicate.
up the doctor office name
Okay.
and find out what email address is associated with it.
Okay.
Because you may have to do it from the website, or you can actually get an email address, info at whatever doctor office or whatever.
Okay.
And that's what we'll work with. But what I intend to do is to have the compelling headlines so that whoever opens the email is actually going to be wanting to open the email.
Okay. And you'll talk about that on Tuesday?
Yep.
Okay. I will see you next Tuesday a couple times. And until then, be well, stay strong.
Thank
I've
you.
been
You too.
Thank you. I've been starting every day with a lemon, just to boost the immune system. Starting off alkalizing the system. I stopped drinking coffee completely a few days ago, several days ago. Like it doesn't help. You can go into adrenal overload. What is it? Adrenal fatigue with that. And that's when I was working 7 days a week with like a chicken with my head cut off. I was drinking a lot of coffee, running around, and it stresses your whole system. And when you're stressed like that, you get inflammation. When you're stressed like that, you get sick or you're more susceptible. So now that I have this time on my hands, taking a step back, and I'm just finding, okay, I don't need coffee to function. And in fact, at that point in time, it wasn't even working. Once you're like drinking coffee all the time, it's like it stops working,
Well, it's just funny you mentioned that. I stopped drinking coffee after I got hurt, after I'd taken that fall, because I
That
just
was
did.
like a couple months ago.
That was January.
Okay.
And I decided then, even with getting better and getting better so quickly, that I was gonna not drink coffee. And then something happened and I had a cup, and then I looked up and it was like 3 days in a row I had a cup of coffee, and I started feeling the difference. Actually, I used to have headache withdrawals. I was having headaches on the front side, like you're consistently in this caffeine space, I'm going to give you a headache. And I was like, okay. So I stopped. I don't think I've had a cup of coffee since.
Do you
Um,
drink tea or any other caffeine at all?
I
Just
drink herbal green tea,
okay, that's what I'm doing now.
organic green tea, and I
Okay.
drink in the tea ginger, turmeric, and cayenne pepper.
You
So
just add it?
so good. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Like not fresh, just like add some spices basically.
Ground. Yep.
Okay. And keep them on hand. That makes it easy when you're tired in the
Yep.
morning.
When you don't have time because you already know that a meeting's happening 5 minutes from the time your water started boiling.
You're off. Okay. Well, thank you. And I'm gonna continue going over these and just working on keeping in mind, that discussion, that dialogue. And I don't know, I mean, should I just try this with somebody else, or if you're open to it sometimes, if you're free, maybe over this as well.
Try it out with yourself.
Okay. Like record
Just
myself?
envision
Okay.
I'm at the yoga studio and somebody comes up and I don't know them. I want to know who they are.
Yeah.
How can I open the conversation? Hi, I'm Sarah. It's good to meet you. Who are you? You're new here. What do you do? What brings you here? You ask those kinds of questions for somebody coming to the yoga studio, don't you?
Yes.
Same thing, only now you're bringing in a different conversation. Yes, I'm one of the yoga instructors. I'm also a healthy living advocate. And who are you and what do you do and how did you find out about us? And these are some of the things that you're going to learn over time
Okay.
to get more proficient in asking.
Okay.
But yeah, start out practice with yourself. Just envision yourself in an environment, what the conversation is going to be, asking your questions to prompt a response back, put yourself in the other person's shoes, what might they say, and practice that way. Because what you want to do is get used to the bite of information.
Okay.
One of my friends who's in the film industry said that they're sound bites.
Okay.
She's like, Lynn, you need to learn how to speak more in sound bites.
You said that
Like,
to
what are you
you?
talking about?
Good. In my world. Good, I love it.
Uh,
I need help with that. I like to talk.
well, it was that whole awakening to the awareness.
She gave you some insight.
I was like, you're right. I need to. That conciseness has some advantages.
Yeah. Less is more.
Yeah, in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
And in the cases where it's not, I get to be the determiner
Okay.
of whether or not there's more that needs to be said.
Okay.
All right, my dear.
Thank you so much for
You are
taking the
so
time.
welcome.
Beautiful day. I wish I could send you some of this banana chocolate seed nut bread, but
Give me the recipe, and
I
then
will.
we'll have to make sure that I try it.
Now. All right.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Talk to you.
Bye-bye.